And we're talking now on the programme with Aisling Shanley, who is the Fundraising and Communications Manager at Childvision. You're very welcome to the programme.
Thank you for having me.
So you know all about Childvision, I presume.
I do, yes. Still
You
fairly
might
new to
start.
the position, but I do, yes.
Do you know how many children suffer with sight loss?
Oh, now you're testing me here. But
I,
there are. So we deal with children all over the country now. So we've just launched our national piece. So we have approximately 200 children in our service alone. But those numbers are rising throughout the country. And there are I think, don't quote me on this, hold on, 900 or
okay,
so
okay.
children. Yeah.
So it must be frightening for a child to to have sight loss.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, it depends on their situation. For some children, it's all they know. So is it
Yeah,
frightening? I don't know because it's their normal, it's their reality. I think the frightening part comes for them trying to adapt to a world that isn't designed for them.
yeah.
And so our challenge as a society, not just as an organization, is creating a world that is accessible for everyone, including those with vision impairment.
We look after people with a disability, so I understand exactly where you're coming from. The
Absolutely.
world out here is not built for people in wheelchairs, especially, and people with sight loss.
No, definitely not. We're getting there, but there's still a long way to go.
Right, some of the children that you deal with have other issues as well as sight loss. Can you tell us a few of them?
Yeah, so the children that come to us are primarily children who are either blind or suffer with vision impairment. But along with those, there are other disabilities that present in children. So it's not always so straightforward. Sometimes children are on the autism spectrum that come to us.
Okay,
Sometimes they have other disabilities. So we have a range of services to work with them. Orientation and mobility specialists. We have psychologists on hand because they can present with other either intellectual disabilities or
okay.
autism as well.
I'll ask you about those two a little bit later, but you might tell us how old the children are when they come to you.
Yeah, so we have our early year services. So children will start to come to us from approximately the age of 3, and then they will work with us throughout their childhood and all the way up into, by the time they hit 18, they would enter into what we have called our Pathways program. So Pathways has students from the ages of 18 to approximately 23 right now.
Okay,
And Pathways is designed to teach students how to adapt to life after child vision. It's like a transition program almost.
I get you. Yeah.
So yeah, so that they can learn to live in a world and function in our world.
It must be frightening for a family to find out that their child has sight loss. I mean, I know it is for any disability, but in particular, sight loss.
Yeah, it's definitely something that our parents would, initially feel that fear and say, "Oh my goodness." But I think any parent is afraid for their child, regardless of whether or not they have a disability. So it's for those parents, it's trying to navigate next steps and how to best serve their children. And so we do our best as well to make sure that we can help them navigate as well.
We might get into child vision now. You might tell us when they were set up and why.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are currently called Child Vision. Obviously, we have a history before we used to be St. Joseph's.
Okay.
So we've been taken over. We were run by the Rossminians. We are now operating as a separate organization. So the Carmelite Brothers opened what is now called Child Vision back in 1870, and they were primarily just serving young boys. So it was run by priests. It was a school. The boys would attend the school, and it was run by the Christian Brothers. Obviously now 100 some odd years later, 150 plus years later, it's morphed into this organization that accepts boys and girls of all ages, and we are working to create an environment for them that embraces their disability.
Very good. What kind of services do you provide?
We have absolutely everything. So as I mentioned, early years, those are our preschool services. So the preschools, we have them in Dublin and Cork. And those are for, as I said, children from the age of 3. But we also provide orientation and mobility training. We have independent living courses. We have our reading services. So, reading services is a massive, massive department within Childvision that produces all of the braille and easy read textbooks for every child with visual impairment throughout the island of Ireland. So, as you can imagine, that is a huge undertaking. If there is a child with vision impairment, they come to Childvision for their textbooks. So, what they'll do is they'll reach out to us at the beginning of the school year and say, here's our book list. And then our team will produce those books for those children based on their needs, whether it be braille, whether it be large print. And the challenge behind that is because there is no one set curriculum for the entire country, and it's up to each individual teacher to decide kind of what books or what publishers they're getting their books from. It means that in any given year, our team could be producing 7 different versions of Macbeth because the
Wow.
teachers have decided to not be on the same page. So it's a massive, massive undertaking. But in addition to that, too, we have a library, and our library services produce not just school books, but regular books so that any child with visual impairment, if they want to be like their friends and read Harry Potter, they can come to us and request Harry Potter. And we have a free post service as well for children that aren't based in Dublin. And we can post out the books and they can post them back to us free of charge. So reading services is
Does
a massive, massive program.
does assistive technology play an important part in your work?
It does, absolutely. And within our library, we have many, many different versions of assistive technology that the children can avail of. And they're also designed to accommodate students of all ages as well. So we work very closely with Humanware, which is the assistive technology company that have been very, very good to us over the years. They've donated a lot of equipment to us, and they work really closely with us as well in terms of determining what works and what doesn't for children. And so there's those pieces of equipment that are adaptive for young children, but then as they age, they use different pieces of technology so that they could sit there and they could read, War and Peace if they really wanted to. Yeah.
Um, I'll get into some of the services now if you don't mind. You might tell us a bit about speech and language therapy. That's extremely important, I would say, for a young child in particular.
It is, yes. Now, I'm not trained in speech and language therapy, but we do have a full staff of speech and language therapists in-house who work with our children, as that is very important. And as I mentioned, we have social care workers, we have SLTs, we have psychologists, we have vision care specialists. So everything is done within our organization. And programs are designed around the individual child. So it's not just, a cookie cutter formula where everyone gets the same type of program. It's very much bespoke to the child, and they work with the families and the children to determine what needs each of the children require.
That's a busy business.
It absolutely is. There's a lot of moving parts. And in addition to, the speech and language and all that, we have an equine center as well. So equine therapy has proven to be hugely, hugely beneficial for children with visual impairments, for children on the spectrum. It gets their movement. So children with visual impairments don't necessarily have the agility to move the way that children with regular sight would. But when they start their equine therapy, the way that they transition and the way that they're able to, work with the horse and sit on the horse and get on and off the horse, and absolutely fantastic. And in addition to our equine therapy, we will be launching an indoor equine center in September. So that has been funded by Heather and Henry de Bromhead and a group of very, very
Wow.
generous donors who have covered for the capital of this. And the equine center is going to be called the Jack de Bromhead Equine Center for
Right.
Childvision after their son Jack, who very sadly passed away in an accident a few years back. So it's definitely something that is on the up and coming as well in Childvision. It's a very exciting year
Yeah.
for us because we will be launching this indoor equine center as well.
How many horses have you?
Currently, we have 7 horses. We're working our way up to 10 by the time the equine center launches. Yes,
It's a very busy one.
absolutely it is. And
I'd say the younger kids love it.
it's very, very popular amongst our children. We have fantastic stories of children in our early years. There's this one girl, her name is Anya. She's in our early year service, and Anya was absolutely terrified of horses when she first was presented with the option of starting equine therapy. Absolutely did not want to get on a horse, didn't want to go anywhere near it, completely afraid. One day we had a tiny little pony named Jessie who was on their way to us, and we said to Anya, "We have a horse especially for you. This is Jessie." And Jessie is much, much smaller than the rest of the horses. And as soon as she saw Jessie, she got on Jessie, believes Jessie is her horse, only her horse, and she's now come leaps and bounds on Jessie week after week. And she gets to now do her equine therapy with her three. There's a group of 4 little girls in our earlier services who are joined at the hip, and she gets to do her equine therapy with them now too. So it's absolutely phenomenal service, and it's so wonderful when you see those personal stories and how it affects individual lives.
They're feel-good stories, and as I say, you see feel-good stories regularly in there.
Absolutely, that's just one of many, many, many.
Yeah, yeah. Tell us about reading. How do they read? Do they learn Braille? How difficult is it to learn, etc.?
Yeah, so we do have Braille textbooks on offer for our students. Children begin sensory training at a very young age, especially when they're visually impaired. So for them to learn Braille, what they would start doing is learning how to use their touch as their main sense. So even with our equine therapy, we have a sensory trail, and we have little magical boxes where they can open up the boxes and feel what's inside the box so that they can kind of make out the shapes. The fingers tips of our blind children are very, very sensitive because that's what they use. So even you'll notice many blind children, while they play loads of instruments, they tend to not gravitate towards the guitar because that damages their fingertips. And that's what they use. So many of our children are, they're very quick to adapt to reading Braille. However, if you become blind later in life, it's more difficult to learn Braille because your fingers aren't as sensitive as they would have been had you been raised. So there's a different kind of version of Braille for those adults who go blind as opposed to start off their lives that way. Because it is, I mean, I know within Childvision, all of our reading specialists can read Braille, but they can only read it by sight, not by touch. So it is something that for us, you and I would find that very difficult to attempt to read with our hands, but the children don't struggle at all.
Very good. What about your own role? That's a busy role too.
It absolutely is. So I'm the head of communications and fundraising within Childvision. I'm very new to the role, but I feel like I've been here forever, just because of the warm welcome I received as soon as I got onto campus. So we're based in Drumcondra, and as I mentioned, there's a lot going on campus, but from the moment you step on campus, you just feel the love and the energy and the vibrance of the community. There's so many kind of people willing to talk about the work. They love their work. All of our frontline staff absolutely love the work that they do. So my job is to talk to other people about that and have those conversations and tell their stories and be their mouthpiece because it's such a fantastic story within Childvision. And so my role is to make sure that their stories are heard because it's such a happy, wonderful place to be. And I don't think enough people know all the wonderful things that are done kind of behind those campus walls.
I would imagine outside of the community that you work in, people have a view that it's a sad place where children go and they have sight problems, or it's complete opposite.
Completely other opposite. And I do understand in the past, that may have been the attitude towards anybody with a disability. And, years and years and years ago, places may have been run more as institutions, whereas our place is a learning environment. It's somewhere that people love coming. Like I hear children's laughter on a daily basis. I don't hear tears. I don't hear crying. It's not sad. It's a happy place. The parents love bringing their children. Their children love being here. Even this Friday, I'm going down for an Easter egg hunt with our early years children to take photos of
Right.
them. And so it's an absolutely happy place, and there's great things that are being done every day.
And then you might tell us then about you're the fundraising guru, so you must have a load of fundraising stuff coming up.
We do. We absolutely do. As I mentioned, our indoor equine center is going to be opening in September. So there's a lot of fundraising going on around operational costs for that. But our big promotional fundraiser for the spring is our 40K in May. So we are launching a fundraiser for anybody who's interested to sign up. Head over to our website, childvision.ie, and all you have to commit to doing over the course of the month of May is moving your body 40 kilometers worth of distance, whether you want to walk, run,
Up or down?
across, up, down, around, whatever works for you. You can swim it, you can run it, you can walk it, you can dance. Get your Fitbit on and dance it, whatever suits you and your physical level of ability. And we're just asking for you to get sponsors and do the 40K and let us know and raise the money for Childvision.
And how do you register for that?
You can head over to our website and there's a link for our Childvision 40K page, or you can go directly to givengain.ie, GIVENGAIN, and search Childvision, and the fundraiser is there under our page on Give and Gain.
I wanted to ask you about two more things just before we let you go. You might tell us a bit about the piece of work that's done to kind of bring the children up to be able to go out into the community and function.
Absolutely. And that's where our Pathways program really, really, really comes into play. So as I mentioned, our Pathways students range from the ages of 18 to 23. And those, again, are very bespoke programs that are designed for the individual student based on their needs, based on their ability levels. And that will teach them how to adapt to adult life, just as any student would need to do that. This one is very tailored to those with visual impairments. Our Pathways service has its own social enterprise called Can Do, where they make soaps, they weave, they do candles. It's an absolutely phenomenal service, and they actually go out to craft fairs. They have a Shopify page where they sell their products. They have corporate partnerships where they send supplies to other corporates and franchise out. So it's an absolutely wonderful social enterprise that teaches them how to be in the workplace in an area that they're familiar with, in a comfort zone, but kind of getting them outside of that comfort zone bit by bit by bit. So it's a really, really fantastic program.
And then we're right at the end of our time. You'd be glad to know. You might tell us if you have anything that you'd like to put out there before you go.
Just that we are based, as I said, on Grace Park Road in Drumcondra. And please feel free to pay us a visit on campus. We have a garden center that's open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That will get you over. It's beautiful weather right now, the perfect time to go out and pick something for your garden and come and see what we do and just see what a wonderful campus and organization we have and just how happy and wonderful everyone is.
Last thing, if there's somebody out there listening today who wants to get in touch, how do they?
Yeah, absolutely. You can get in touch with me directly if you email fundraising@childvision.ie. Again, my name is Aisling Shanley, and any question you have, I'm happy to answer it. And if I don't know the answer, I will direct you to the person who can help.
Brilliant. And for general queries, if they want to get on the website, for example?
Yeah, if they head over to childvision.ie, we have all of our information on our website. And yeah, they can find any contact information there as well.
Brilliant. I can vouch that there's loads of information on the website. That's what I do. I read the websites a lot. Aisling, Shanley, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
You're very good.